Minions and Monsters is the seventh film within the Despicable Me franchise created by Illumination. It's an animated comedy movie directed by Pierre Coffin, who also co-wrote it with Brian Lynch. The movie follows the minions in 1920s Hollywood as they search for the frightening creatures for their monster movie, partner with a green creature, and must save the planet after unleashing said monsters. This will be a spoiler-free review, but before we get into it, are you a fan of the Minions? If so, are you going to see this new movie, or do you despise the Minions and wish they would just go away at this point? Let me know down in the comments below, and without wasting any more time, let's just jump straight into it. Starting off with the good, I'm genuinely surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. I like the homages that they do for old school Hollywood, not just during the movie, but also with the logos before the film, and just showing off the first motion picture of the guy riding the horse and then having minions following suit. It's stuff like that that makes this movie feel like a true love letter to cinema. All the homages are fun for people who really love cinema, and they also serve as a great entry point for younger people to maybe even look back at these older movies that the movie are paying homage to. Anything that gets more people into movies is great, and this feels like a movie that's aimed just to do that. The three new main characters of the movie, James, Henry, and Ed, are a nice change of pace from the three from the first two Minions movies. They aren't just there doing dumb stuff, which some people might not like because, hey, the dumb stuff is what people want from the Minions. But if you're going to have the Minions be the star of the show, you need them to be more than what they are in the main Despicable Me movies. You need them to have a character arc or have any form of agency, and they do that really well in Minions and Monsters. The side plot of this movie was actually really funny. The other Minions finding a new leader whose name is Dort, who is assumed to be a cosplayer of an alien robot, to say the least. And Dort falls in love with this girl who's a big part of the women's rights movements at the time. So inadvertently, you have the Minions supporting the women's rights movement because their new evil master wants to show support for this girl who showed interest in him. It's pretty funny now, looking back at it, that the Minions could be seen as evil, just trying to help women get rights. It's pretty insane to think about, but it's also really funny in hindsight. This movie doesn't really delve into it that much, but it's just a funny thought right there. And the final thing is, I just found out a lot of the slapstick humor to be really funny in this movie. Slapstick humor is very hit or miss, but it really works well in this movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It just does enough to get a chuckle here and there and not overstay its welcome when they do use it. Moving on to the mixed, I don't have much to say, but the humor of the movie is very hit or miss for me. Like almost all Illumination films, you're going to get very low-hanging fruit humor, and that's no different here. But they didn't do as much of it as they could have, which I enjoyed, seeing how a lot of the issues in their movies as a whole comes down to their kind of humor that they go for. And while I liked a lot more of the jokes than I didn't, there are still a lot of jokes that just make you remember, like, yes, this is an Illumination film. This is going to have that kind of humor scattered throughout the whole movie, which, hey, it seems to be working for them because their movies make a lot of money. But I think they could tone down a bit more overall, and in this movie, it seems like a better, even mix of their humor that works and what doesn't work to me. Moving on to the bad, there's really only one thing, and while I applaud Illumination for actually wanting to make a movie about something other than just the Minions doing dumb stuff for an hour and a half, I do wish they did more with it. They, for whatever reason, don't want to scare off the lowest common denominator of people who go to these kind of movies. So while I really liked the going after your passion aspect of the movie, it never really was anything more than just that. A surface level understanding of what going after your passion is. It doesn't go into the struggles of chasing your dream. It doesn't go into what if I can't do this. Everything for the most part just goes right for James, Henry, and Ed. And other than the end where they accidentally summon a monster that's going to destroy the world, that's the only thing that really mixes with their plans of wanting to become filmmakers, make a movie, and all this stuff. It's not like I'm expecting anything like that from Illumination films. They made it very clear that they are going to be asking those kind of questions in their movies, but I think they could have if they wanted to, and this movie is a step into that direction. Sadly, seeing how the box office is looking for this movie, it's doing the worst of the franchise so far, and Illumination might look at that and be like, well, we're not going to be doing that again, and just go back to what they've been doing, what's been making them the most money. It's not the end of the world, but you're so close to actually making a great movie, and I wish they fully committed to it. I get it's not everything needs to be a super deep think piece. Some movies exist just to have a fun moment of escapism. But to me, movies serve as that escapism while also making you truly think about real life and all of your own passions and whatnot. And I think Minions and Monsters could have been that for Illumination. But they chose not to do it. It's not the end of the world, like I said, but it is the main thing holding it back for me. It's a fun movie. It's fun, dumb, and stupid. Everything you would come to know from the Illumination. At the end of the day, Minions and Monsters isn't going to change anyone's lives, but it's the most competently put together Illumination film in over 15 years to me, and I really hope Illumination uses the reaction to this movie to see that they can try while also being hugely successful as well at the box office. Minions and Monsters gets a 7 out of 10 for me. And if they ever do another Minions movie, I do hope that it's more in line with this movie than the first two. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with my newest reviews, and have a great rest of your day.